All right, we are now joined by Austin Dillon, driver of the number 3 Dow Coating Materials Chevrolet for Richard Childress Racing. Austin, you survived the first round of the chase, advancing to the round of 12 this weekend at Charlotte. Talk about the opportunity you have making it to this round and racing here at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm just excited. It's a great opportunity for us. Home track here. I feel like I've had some success in the past, and one of my better tracks as far as my average finish, and I'm comfortable here. So actually the next 3 races are some of my favorite tracks, and including Talladega. It's been good for me. So I'm in a really good mood and just excited to get the weekend started.
All right, we'll go ahead and open it up to questions. Please raise your hand if you have a question. We'll start with Tom Jensen.
Good morning, Austin. Tom Jensen, FoxSports.com. How important is it to win one of these first 2 races so you don't have to count on a good finish at Talladega?
I think it's important, but I think you can still have a really good finish at Talladega. I mean, there's obviously a lot that goes into it, you know, with luck and what have you, but there's ways to be smart at super speedways and try if you're in a good points position when you get there. But yeah, I mean, a win obviously takes the pressure off, but you saw what we were able to do in the last round. I mean, it's got to be a tighter finishing average than what it took last round, but I still feel like with no points buffer from the guys that have won races, you still got to be smart the next 3 races, the next 2. So, you know, risking it for a win or just having a solid points day can make or break it. So it's still a little bit of a risk if you have to go. If you got the opportunity to win, obviously it's going to make you feel great. You can sit and relax when you get to Talladega, but a good points day the next 2 weeks will also make you feel good going into Talladega.
Additional questions for Austin? We'll go to Woody.
Woody Kane with MRN. Austin, when you approach these races and this chase in general, are you a guy who's a glass half empty guy and think what might happen, or a half full guy who thinks what I can do at a specific track or through the course of the chase?
I definitely don't think probably what might happen. I want to think what we can do. And I have confidence in our team that we can turn some heads, especially the next 3 weeks. Last weekend was big. We had a lot of speed in that car. So with speed and what we've been able to do all year with what I feel like has not been the fastest cars, being able to finish and the consistency part of and trying to lower the mistakes. I think you tie that with the speed of the car we had last weekend and hopefully show it again this weekend, we can really upset some guys in this round.
All right, we'll go to Bob Pockris next.
Austin, what do you think it meant to the organization for you to advance? It's been, you guys are still looking for your first win. There's probably some bitterness over the whole Newman stuff and the penalty and not getting in and just kind of the way that all went down. What do you think your advancing did for the organization?
I think it definitely was uplifting for RCR in general. Had multiple guys come up to me in the shop this week of how proud they were and just proud to be a part of RCR. They feel like we're doing a good job of putting effort behind everything right now and really taking advantage of this opportunity that we have. I mean, because it's a great opportunity. Right now we're tied for first in the points. We haven't been there all year long, and it's just a great opportunity for the whole company in general. So you saw what Ryan Newman was able to do a couple years ago and go to Homestead. It's nice having, Luke Lambert came up to me after the race. He said, man, you guys are built for this just like we made our run. So I hope we can back it up and keep ourselves relevant.
Final questions for Austin? Austin, I have one for you. You've had experience running for championships in the past. You won the title in the Camping World Truck Series and the XFINITY Series. Do you find that experience has helped you at all while you're running this year for the chase?
Sure, yeah. I think, been to Homestead twice and raced for championships, so I've had that feeling, and definitely last weekend was one of those sink or swim kind of feelings going into the race, and we were able to accomplish, it felt like winning a Xfinity championship, making it to the next round in the chase. So I feel like I'm comfortable in that situation, and I'm comfortable because of the group we have at RCR, and just I feel like we can do this, and I'm prepared for it, and I like that. I like that situation. I know what it takes, and I feel like it's just gonna be one of those things that's gonna come to us, but we still have to perform when we have to perform.
All right, and one final question to the gentleman in the middle with the camera.
Austin, Mike Solarte, Time Warner Cable News. It sounds like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like you're kind of putting yourself in a bit of an underdog role going in. But as you said, you're tied for first in the points coming into this week. So really, is there an underdog as you go forward in this round of the chase?
Well, we have the least odds in Vegas right now. I just heard that, so I don't know. I mean, I think so. I mean, I like it. I like this role because it puts the pressure on the guys that I guess are projected to make it to the next round, whatever projections mean, because in racing I've learned real quick that it's not like any other sport, I guess, because DraftKings is really hard. So you just never know what can happen in a race, and you never know what the outcomes. There's so much that goes into every little piece and part of these cars. So I'm confident in the company I drive for with RCR and the people around me, myself also, that we can make strong finishes, and that's what I'm confident about. So, and I love the underdog role because that makes, when we do knock people out, it's going to be fulfilling.
All right, Austin, thanks for joining us, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
All right, we are now joined by Ty Dillon, driver of the number 3 WESCO Chevrolet in the NASCAR XFINITY Series. Ty, it's the last race in the round of 12 for the NASCAR XFINITY Series. What's your plan heading into this weekend as you hope to advance to the round of 8?
Our plan is to keep our momentum rolling. We've had good speed the last two races. Kentucky obviously didn't end the way we wanted to, but we had good speed. We were running inside the top 5 all race, led some laps, and then Dover we had a really good race car. Was able to drive from last to second. So if we just continue on our path and the momentum that we've had, and I think our biggest focus is just finish the race and do what we've been doing all year. And we'll be sitting in a really, really good spot to make it to the next round. It's all about just executing and letting the cards fall where they fall.
All right, we'll go ahead and open it up to questions. If you have a question, please raise your hand. We'll start with Kelly Crandall.
Kelly Crandall from NBC Sports. Ty, you came into this year and you said in January that you kind of had a championship or bust mentality. You've looked at the last couple years and kind of developed more of a hardened attitude with the close calls and the truck championship last year. You felt like Dover cost you the Xfinity title. With being on the outside looking in going into tomorrow, how aggressive will you be? How will that attitude carry you into tomorrow?
I think with the situation we're in this round, just knowing the people that we're racing for to get to that next spot, I don't think we'll have to be overly aggressive or do anything out of the norm. I don't think this is the time or situation for that. I think if we just execute a good race and don't overexert ourselves and do stuff that we don't normally do, we don't have to worry about doing anything like that. I think we can just race our way in with the speed that we've had all year compared to the guys that were racing. So it's all about us just having a solid race this weekend. But I think if you get to the next round when it gets a little bit tougher and you got cars that you're racing against are guys that you're actually racing on the track against more than usual, or more than most, you might have to take some things into your own hand if you're in a situation like we are. But hopefully when we make it to the next round, that when the reset comes, we'll be not having to worry about that.
Do you still have that attitude?
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, that attitude's never really changed for me. That's been my attitude since I started racing. I want to win championships. That's what you're known for in the sport for the most, and winning races, winning championships. Unfortunately, we haven't won any races yet, but we're still in the championship hunt. So we're getting better as a team. We're growing in momentum, and as the year winds down, it gets tougher and tougher. Hopefully we do too.
Additional questions for Ty. We'll go to Kenny Bruce and then Jessica.
Kenny Bruce with NASCAR.com. Ty, can you just put like where you're at in points and all the stuff that's going on around that? Can you just pretty much blank that out and not pay attention to that kind of stuff, or is that something that because people mention it and you're asked about it or you hear people talking about it, is that something that's kind of in the background all the time?
I'd be lying to you if I haven't been thinking about it. you know, it's winning a championship means the world to me, and that's what I want to do. So being outside coming into a cutoff race, you're obviously thinking about it, thinking about the situation, but I've been able to distract myself pretty good. You know, my wife's running the better half dash, so I've been over here practicing with her. My family, her family flew in this week, and 4 little nephews are here, so we're getting to hang out with them, and it's been fun kind of keeping my mind off of this, and hopefully we leave here Friday and we're all happy, we're on to the next round, and we're going to hang out with them and continue to enjoy the ride.
All right, we'll go to Jessica.
Jessica Ruffin with NASCAR.com. You were just talking about how Haley's competing in the better half dash today. How much advice have you given her for the race today?
I've been spotting for her, and luckily she's awesome. she's a good listener. She doesn't mind listening to me help her, and she actually likes it. So, but she's pretty dang good, and I'm having more fun just watching her race. And I didn't get to watch. She raced when she was younger, and I never got to watch that. So it's kind of cool to see her out there, and she's been doing a good job. And I don't know if I'm more nervous for the cutoff race or for her race today. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
All right, we'll go to Woody and then Chris Knight.
Woody came with MRN.com. Ty, you've been through this several times before in terms of where you practice in the day and then race at night. Now you've got weather to keep in the back of your mind as well. Can you just describe the process of how you go through trying to take a swing at that and guess what you're going to have to face when you practice in different conditions and maybe race in another?
Yeah, I just got done having that conversation about 10 seconds ago with my crew chief before I walked over here. Depending on the weather, we don't know whether if we're going to race the race at the regular time at night or if we're going to do it in the morning. You know, Saturday morning is a possibility. It just all depends. So that determines how we do these next practices. When we start this next practice, if we're going to put extra focus on the first one or the second one, depending on where we think that it's going to be day or night. I don't think anybody knows, and nobody really knows what's going to happen with the hurricane. So we're just going to, you know, emphasize on making sure we know what the car's doing in every situation. And we always seem to be very prepared and ready for anything that comes at us.
All right, Chris Knight.
Chris Knight, GetFence.com. Ty, your brother has had to fight his way into the second round in the Sprint Cup chase, and now you're finding yourself fighting your way to get into the second round as well. Have you guys been able to talk to one another and bounce ideas, or just keep each other energetic and motivated?
Well, it's definitely motivating to see him get to the next round. You know, being that they were the outside in, I think his situation was pretty tough too to rebound from where they were. We're both kind of fighting from different positions, and our team has had good speed to where we should have. You know, we felt like barring no mistakes or things happen like they did at Kentucky, we should have been able to advance through this round pretty quick. So now we were kind of fighting from behind. Dover was a big race for us, so it's a little bit different situation, but you know, it's been nice to know that your brother's been kind of going through the same thing, and hopefully we'll just keep it going to the next round. Both of us will be in.
Final questions for Ty? All right, Ty, thanks for joining us.